Well, Karissa Smith, thank you so much for being here. It's been a while since we had a chance to work together, but I am really excited for you to be able to talk with our students, mostly because you're unique in multiple different ways. Maybe start with telling us what your current job is and what that's like.
Sure. Well, it's thank you so much first and foremost for having me here. My current role is the president of BK Consulting. It is a company that I founded just a little less than a year ago now, and super excited to be building out my own business for the first time. The business is primarily focused on general business management consulting and advisory services. And so we are supporting small businesses in four key ways in bookkeeping and accounting services, in HR consulting, in startup support for brand new business ideas, and then in business optimization and process improvement.
Wow. Um, I think I heard you talk about maybe bringing on some more help because you've been kind of doing this on your own for this first year, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So right now I am a solopreneur, which has been an incredible experience because I get the opportunity to wear multiple hats, right? When you're doing it all on your own, you get to be the director of marketing. You get to be the one in the weeds doing the work on a day-to-day basis. You get to be the one building out the business plan and developing your business strategy. So but you also get to be the one answering emails and I'm doing the dirty work, so to speak. So it's been really wonderful to have my own business going, and doing it on my own and really learning every aspect of running a business. However, I have grown to the point where I'm having a few growing pains,
Mhm.
and I'm excited to say I'm bringing on my first UCF student who will be interning for me over the summer.
That's great. So I mentioned earlier, you're not exactly our typical student, and that's not a bad thing. It's actually a wonderful thing. But uh, tell our students your history. I mean, you didn't actually start out doing this, uh, right?
I didn't. Yeah, no, I spent I have this is my third career technically, although I do anticipate moving this business into healthcare at some point. Right now, it's a more general business management support. But I started out in retail at the age of 18, got my first store at the age of 20, and went to multi-unit management at the age of 25. And then back into a store and had a lot of fun sitting in various roles for the companies that I worked for. I spent a total of 17 years in retail management and loved every minute of it, except that I didn't get that feeling of pride in the purpose that I was fulfilling on a day-to-day basis. You know, after a while, it just felt like selling products, whether that was when I worked for Lush Cosmetics, selling soap, or when I worked for clothing brands and shoe brands like Aerosols. And so in 2019, I decided to take the GRE. I wanted to find a career that gave me that sense of purpose and meaning. And I sat for the GRE, and then after that said, you know what? Why don't I let me look for potential degrees in the master's programs that would offer me that opportunity to develop that sense of purpose in the work that I do. And so I looked into it. I thought about going to medical school. My mom always wanted to be a nurse, and she passed away in 2010. And unfortunately never got the chance to follow through with that dream. And so my hope was to find something potentially in healthcare that would make an impact and also honor her legacy, and ended up finding the Health Services Administration program. When I thought about going to med school, I looked into it, and that, you know, as an English major in my bachelor's level, there were way too many courses that I would have to take just to prepare for medical school. And so I kept looking, and then found the health administration program, found it right here in Central Florida at UCF, and ended up taking a chance and applying. It was the only college that I applied to, and for some strange reason, y'all chose me. So thank you for that.
Nothing strange about that. Uh, but you're just doing an awful lot, and then you have to stop and do the master's program. And I mean, how was that fitting into your life?
So when I started the master's program, I was still working full time in retail. It was September 2019, so it was about 6 months before COVID took effect.
Mm,
And I had two small children, one who was about a year and a half, and one who was just over 3.5 years old.
wow.
Safe to say, it was a very busy time and quite hectic, but honestly, it was, it was that time for me. I think if anyone else is a parent and they're going through, a master's level program or even a bachelor's level program watching this, they know that that time you get to give back to yourself and your own learning and growth is that time that really fulfills you. So even though it was crazy, and difficult to manage at times, it was definitely well worth it.
So I just need to ask, you mentioned your mom's legacy. Um, what's the name of your new company?
So my company name is BK Consulting, which is actually named after my mom. Her full name was, maiden name was Barbara K. Heidemann, and my middle name is Kay, also named after her.
Uh, Again, there's so many ways that we can live back into our lives and find purpose, which I feel like you certainly have done. Uh, I want to pivot a little bit just because I knew you as a student, but I had more opportunity to work with you at ACHE. And you not only were active as a student, you went on to become the chair of two different committees at the ACHE level, which I think your first chairmanship actually happened while you were still a student. Is that correct?
Yes. Which was quite unusual at the time, but
Yes.
it was something that I moved forward with. And I think I was chosen because I had so much past experience in my first career.
But why in the world would a busy mom with young kids going through a master's program and still working full time, why in the world would you take time out and do ACHE? Because that took a lot of time as well.
Absolutely. Honestly, at first, I got into the master's program, and the messages from the professors, the messages from the leaders within the college program kept saying, find opportunities to network, find opportunities to get yourself out there, and just say yes, and to what comes your way. And so I went ahead and just said yes. I found areas to get involved. I went to the annual meeting for ACHE in January of 2020. So again, right before COVID, that's when I first got introduced to a few of the leadership team members within the Central Florida chapter, and just said, yes, let me volunteer. I have 5 to 10 hours a week. I can figure out how to fit in. I can do things on my lunch break at work, or on my shorter breaks when I have time. And it was an invaluable time in my life because it offered me opportunities to flex skills that I hadn't gotten to work on before. I worked in retail for 17 years. And while we had reports that were sent to us in Excel that we had to analyze and we had to report out to our team members and improve, the numbers in certain areas. At the same time, I never had to create formulas in Excel. I never had to manage databases in Excel. And so having the opportunity to do that through ACHE volunteering was incredible, and invaluable for me. When I sat for, when I finished my time as the membership chair and I moved into the communications chair role, again, just the knowledge, skills, and abilities that I was able to build by volunteering and being part of that community, was intense and incredible. I learned so much about social media marketing from working with the communications
Mhm.
committee. I learned about how to develop marketing collateral in Canva, what brand identity is, and how to develop it. I learned how to create and edit and manage websites and through Squarespace, which really was a pivotal skill that I needed to develop my own business and build out my own website. And so there were so many things that I learned during that time, and those are just hard skills that I learned, the soft skills that I developed by being able to network with senior leadership in Central Florida. And getting to know them is more than just, a scary man in a suit, which is what I used to think when I saw men in suits. And,
Some of us
and
are
you know,
scary.
And then, afterward, I ended up getting to know them. And then they became people with names and lives and families who were open and friendly and ready to connect and wanting to genuinely help others in their career growth. So I was very, very blessed during my time there and would highly recommend volunteering to anyone who has even 2 hours a week to spare.
So I really appreciate your time. Before we go, if a student called you up on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, Karissa, do you have any advice for me?" What would be the first thing that you would think of to tell our students?
I think as a student, honestly, the biggest piece of advice that I would say is during your time as a student, just say yes. Say yes to the opportunities that come your way. Say yes to times where you can volunteer. Say yes to people to ask you for help. Say yes to other students who want to connect and network with you. Those opportunities are going to help your growth. They're going to help you gain more confidence, and you're going to be able to develop lifelong friendships as well that you wouldn't expect otherwise. So I think there's something to saying yes, especially during that time as a student. And you get opportunities to do that in a way that you won't in any other time in your life.
That's awesome. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time today. Uh, your story is incredible. You're a wonderful person. You've done some amazing things. And we thank you for all you have done and continue to do for UCF.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for asking me to do this.
Thank you.